around. Hello, Omar. Bonjour, Omar. Do you speak a little French, Ron?
No, I really don't. I can understand a little. I love it here, but a little too scared to try to speak.
I'm sure you understand.
Au revoir.
That's enough.
C'est dans la boîte.
Oh, yes, it is. Yes.
So how did you find each other? What kind of director Ron is? What kind of actor Omar is?
Well, I was aware of Omar through his work, and my daughter Bryce worked with him in Jurassic World and spoke very highly of him. And I wanted to cast the characters in this book in unusual ways. I didn't want to necessarily be entirely tied to the description of the characters in the book. I wanted their spirit, though, and mostly I wanted very, very charismatic, intriguing actors. You know, the best mysteries, going back to Maltese Falcon, you know, every character was engrossing. You wanted to watch that character. And so, you know, I looked in different directions, and as the casting lists came in, when Omar's name came up for this role, I thought, this could be great. He's charismatic. He's interesting. He has charm. He's handsome. And in this movie, he would put the audience a little bit off balance, and that was important. I wanted all the characters to achieve that. And then we had a Skype session, and I also could see that his English was going to be fine for English-speaking audiences, and it was better than fine. My only direction for Omar once we started shooting was don't smile too much, because his smile just changes everything. It's not very suspenseful when he smiles. It makes you feel great. Although we used it a couple of times to good effect.
Ben, là, on entend tout ce qu'il dit déjà très très gentil, très agréable et très très patient aussi. Mais le plus impressionnant, c'est cette concentration. C'est toujours, on sent que tout est très très bien préparé quand on arrive, que il est au courant de tout, et tout ça se fait avec beaucoup de douceur, beaucoup d'humilité aussi. Pour un acteur comme moi, arriver d'avoir son mot à dire, avoir un peu d'espace pour exister, c'est incroyable. Surtout quand on est en face de nous, Ron Howard, on se dit qu'il sait tout et qu'il va nous dire « mais toi là, tu discuteras pas ». Mais non, il cherche quand même à comprendre ton avis, qu'est-ce que tu en penses. Il y a cette curiosité-là, cette humilité-là qui fait que je pense qu'il n'y a pas de hasard. On n'est pas Ron Howard comme ça. Je pense qu'il y a du travail, la concentration et l'amour aussi de ce qu'on fait. Je pense qu'il est constamment à la recherche du mieux. Et c'est impressionnant, et c'est surtout des leçons à prendre pour la suite de ma carrière. C'est de garder cette curiosité et c'est toujours cette exigence du mieux, quoi qu'il arrive.
Justement, la suite de ta carrière, tu rentres dans l'international comme ça, tu as connu des difficultés au départ, c'est une volonté?
C'est des choses qui se présentent depuis le début, depuis que j'ai commencé à jouer. C'est des choses qui se présentent à moi. J'ai jamais eu de plan particulier, c'est des choses qui se présentent. C'est comme dans la vie, c'est des rencontres, c'est des occasions, c'est des opportunités qui se font, et c'est un peu au feeling aussi. Et j'aime, moi, travailler un peu à l'instinct. Sur le plateau comme sur les rencontres, un réalisateur comme Ron, à l'instant, on sait que ça va être bénéfique pour la suite, qu'on va apprendre, qu'on va être bien entouré et que humainement, il va se passer quelque chose. Donc, c'est un peu comme ça que je me laisse guider.
What kind of struggles French actors can meet when they want to go abroad?
The language is the first barrier, but you know, French cinema. And the French aesthetic, the acting styles, the directing styles, the writing styles are very sympathetic with the rest of the world, and certainly American audiences and English audiences as well. Once a charismatic presence, a great actor or actress sort of conquers the language issue, then they become very, very viable, very much in demand, because the acting styles are connect with international audiences in very modern, interesting ways.
You moved around a lot for this movie, so did you have time to visit the cities?
Well, I get to visit a lot because I go there in the beginning with just a small group of people to begin to understand the locations, talk about the logistics of it, the creative problem solving involved, and it is glorious. I mean, that is the greatest. There's not pressure. There's no deadline. You're just exploring, you know, and you even get to go behind the scenes. It goes beyond whatever a normal tourist would get to see and understand, and that's exciting. By the time we're actually shooting, I barely notice how great these places are. All I care about is the actors, the camera, the scene, and the audience, what we're trying to achieve for the audience.
Pour les acteurs, c'est exceptionnel parce que, comme vient de le dire, c'est que au moment où on est en train de tourner, la concentration, la logistique, c'est pour les réalisateurs et la production. Tout le monde sait que les acteurs, on nous met des chaises et on est très très bien traités. Donc le moment où on ne tournait pas, où vous étiez en train de préparer la scène ou qu'on était off caméra, on était sur notre plateau, c'était quand même des monuments incroyables. On était à côté d'œuvres d'art et que le plateau, en fait, c'est plus du tout, on ne pouvait pas s'asseoir. Et donc, on avait un tour privé de certains musées, de certains monuments. On a fait ça pendant presque 4 semaines. Donc, c'était assez exceptionnel. C'est que le temps d'attente était savoureux.
Est-ce que Tom Hanks est aussi sympathique qu'il a l'air?
Tom Hanks, c'est exactement comme on s'attend à le voir. Donc, c'est toujours dangereux de rencontrer ses idoles. Mais là, pour le coup, Tom Hanks et même Ron, c'est la même chose. C'est qu'ils sont exactement comme on les imagine. Il n'y a pas vraiment de surprise. Et donc, il n'y a pas de hasard aussi pour le fait qu'ils aiment travailler ensemble. Je trouve qu'ils sont très proches dans ça, dans cette humilité-là, dans cette chaleur humaine aussi, dans cette envie de rencontrer l'autre, intéressé par l'autre, par autre chose, par les gens. Ils ont, je trouve, la même curiosité, et ce qu'ils font, je pense aussi leur talent. Ils sont toujours en recherche. Il y a rien de hasard. C'est que je pense que ils forgent ça à chaque minute. C'est des grands bosseurs. Donc à regarder pour quelqu'un qui démarre, c'est-à-dire que voilà ce que je dois pas perdre, c'est cette curiosité, cette humilité et l'acharnement. C'est du travail toutes les secondes.
A lot of compliments.
Yeah, thank you. I could follow a little French. I was feeling good, and then I lost it. But thank you, sir. Thank you.
If the audience were to remember one thing about this movie, what would it be?
Probably the surprises. The relationships are complicated, and there's some interesting twists and turns. Not just one, but several. And I think that's probably what our test audiences like the most about the movie.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Hello, Felicity.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. So, Ron Howard movie. Were you a favorite of Ron Howard before?
Before I went to meet Ron, I'd very recently seen Rush, which I absolutely loved. I thought it was such a clever film, but also had so much humanity in all of the characters within it, and that really was the thing that was in my head when I first met him. But obviously, he has a huge CV of very important films.
So can you tell us a little about Sienna Brooks, your character in Inferno?
She's often thinking on many levels. She is someone who has very strong ideology. She's incredibly determined. But at the same time, she's a human, and she falls in love with someone who may not be the best person for her.
Do you think she's kind of insane?
In Dan's book, he talks a lot about her being a child prodigy and speaking many languages and playing chess, and it's almost as if her brain capacity gets pushed into the wrong direction.
Did you follow more the books, the Sienna in the books, or in the script?
The book is obviously a source and a starting off point, so it's a combination of the two in terms of my preparation, very much.
How was working with Tom Hanks? Is he as nice as he seems to be?
He is everything that he seems. He's an incredibly intelligent man, and he works hard. And he and Ron both care immensely about stories and putting good films into the world.
Are you an expert on Dante now?
I was at the time. I feel like I'd have to brush up again if I had to come back and do it.
Looking back on your career now, can you pinpoint a moment when you became a leading lady and not just a supporting romantic character?
Throughout the work that I've done, I've always tried to find the nuances in every character that I played, whether they are leading or supporting. And so I try not to categorize too much and just find the pulse of the person that you're playing.
What would be the perfect part for you, in your opinion?
Oh, the perfect part. Well, I just like to change so much. So probably I'd love to do something comic next. I've done quite a lot of drama, so it'd be nice to change it up and try something else.
What kind of obstacles do you still encounter in your career now?
I think the main obstacle is when you watch something and you think, I wish I'd done it all differently. You know, the obstacle of your own self-criticism and watching something and going, I'd changed that and I'm not sure about that. But then that's the same thing that also keeps you going and keeps you questioning and questing.
Does it mean that you still watch your movies after doing them?
I do, because it's not just me who's in them. There's all sorts of other people and the work that goes into it. You know, we spend 4 months or so actually shooting the movie, and then obviously to edit it, and the whole process is up to a year. So I want to see how it's turned out. I'm intrigued by all the work that's gone into it.
How is Ron Howard process? Does he give you really precise directions?
He builds the process incrementally, so that at the beginning you're having a chat and it's quite relaxed and it's quite formal, and then gradually the pressure slowly increases. But because he has such a careful process for actors that you never feel that you've just been thrown in at the deep end.
If the audience were to remember one thing about Inferno, what would it be for you?
I hope that they are on the edge of their seats. I think there is a quality to it where you can't wait to see what happens next.
What attracted you to the character at the beginning?
Well, it's always two things. It was very much the nature of the story, that it was a film that was motivated by character. I thought there was such a wonderful ensemble selection of roles. I felt intrigued by her. Well, I mean, on an instinctive level, not an intellectual level.
What's your next big project?
Star Wars Rogue One coming out at the end of the year, and I'm just in discussions about a project for next year. So,
do you see yourself in 10 years still an actress or maybe a director?
I would never rule it out. Equally, I know how much skill and experience that directing takes, so I wouldn't want to just say, it'd be easy and I'd just hop into it like that. But I love the process of storytelling. So, of course, at some point, I'd like to try everything.
A message behind Inferno is that our lives are not worth sacrificing for, even for the greater good. So, would you agree on that?
I would agree, yeah, ultimately. Don't agree with people taking action into their own hands in the way that we see the characters in Inferno do.
And because we're in France, I have to ask a question about Omar Sy. How is it?
Oh, he's a joy to work with. He immediately, we got on very well, and he has such humanity in his presence and his acting and carefulness, and yeah, I really like watching him.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.